Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. In today's video I'm going to be returning to my Blu-ray collection. This is part 10. I'm going to do part 10 and then part 11 of my actual collection, and then afterwards it will be all of the films that I've not seen yet. So that might be 3 or 4 different parts because there are quite a lot to go through that I've got over the last few years that I've just still not got around to watching. But we're going to start at the end of the tease. I did look to see where we left off because it has been a while, but I shall just get straight onto it. First up we have T2 Trainspotting. I watched both of the Trainspotting films for the first time the start of last year. Really like them. They're just great classic British films, cult films. I think this is just as good as the first one. I actually prefer this one, if I'm being honest with you, than the first one. Still, both of them are probably 5 out of 5 films. They are some of the best British films ever made, in my opinion, and it's just great. And it was great to see what these characters were getting up to 20 years later. Danny Boyle's a great director, so it was nice to see him return to direct this as he created the first one. Well, he didn't. I think it was based on a book, if I'm correct. But yeah, it'd be nice to see in another 20 years what they're getting up to. There were talks of a Begbie spin-off series. I don't know whether that's still happening, but that would be interesting to see. But yeah, that is T2 Trainspotting, Trainspotting 2. Then we have Trainwreck, which is a Judd Apatow film. I have all of his films now, I believe, and I think I've actually seen them all now, including The Bubble, which you will have to stay tuned to see my review of that in a week or so from when this video is going up. But yeah, this is good. My opinion with Judd Apatow films is that they do get weaker the further they go on, but I think all of them, the minimum 4 stars. This is a 4-star film. The King of Staten Island's a 4-star film, but then I would give the 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up 5 stars. Funny People in This Is 40, probably 4.5, although a lot of people don't like those 2 films, but I do, and apparently we're getting This Is 50, which will be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Amy Schumer, but she is pretty good in this. Really like Bill Hader. If you haven't seen Barry, I recommend watching Barry. That is probably one of the best things he's been in. But yeah, this is just a really good comedy, and just something to have a laugh at. So yeah, that is Trainwreck. Then we have the Transformers 5 movie collection. Now, I was going to get this on 4K, but they're not the best of films, and I think it would be a bit of a waste of money because they're really long, and I'm unlikely to revisit them that often. The first one's really good. I quite like the second one as well. Third one's not as great, and then I actually have I would say the 4th and the 5th, Age of Extinction and The Last Night, are what I would call guilty pleasures, because I do quite like Mark Wahlberg, and I like Anthony Hopkins in The Last Night as well. So they're guilty pleasures. They're not good films, but all of these films I would class as guilty pleasures, and they're just easy watches. So yeah, those are the Transformers films. I do not yet have Bumblebee because I'm waiting to get that on 4K. Anyway, next up we have True Grit. This is the 2010 remake directed by the Coen brothers and starring Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon and Josh Brolin, and also Haley Steinfeld, who I believe was nominated for an Academy Award for this. One of the youngest ever actresses to be nominated for an Academy Award. I don't know how old she was. I think she was about 13 when she was nominated. But yeah, this is a really good film. Quite underrated, I think. I've not seen the original with John Wayne, but I am interested in watching that after seeing this. Jeff Bridges is great in this as Rooster Cogburn, and yeah, it's just a really good western, and a really it's got good tone to it, which you would expect from a Coen Brothers film. But yeah, I just really enjoy it. So yeah, that is True Grit. Then we have The Truman Show, which is one of my favourite films of all time, starring Jim Carrey in what is probably his best film. So rewatchable this is, and Jim Carrey, as I say, is great in this. Basically about Truman, who is a star of this reality show that he doesn't know he's involved with because it's been following him since he was born. and it's just kind of, I suppose it looks at psychology, and like it's like kind of a big experiment, I suppose, but for people's entertainment. You've got a great supporting cast, including Ed Harris and Laura Linney, and it is just a really great film. I have a lot of fun with it, and it's really rewatchable. So yeah, that is The Truman Show. And then we have Twister, great disaster film with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. And it's also got Philip Seymour Hoffman in as well, I believe, and Cary Elwes. Yeah, I would love to see this get a 4K. I've not actually seen the Blu-ray of this yet. I think I watched it on Netflix when I first watched it. But I'm sure it'll look great and sound great on Blu-ray, but I bet it'll be even better on 4K. It's just a really cheesy disaster film from the 90s. I really like it. So yeah, I thought, why not have it in the collection? Because I will definitely be rewatching this at some point. And next up, we have Up in the Air, which is a film directed by Jason Reitman, who obviously did the most recent Ghostbusters, amongst many other great films. Starring George Clooney, Vera Farmiga. It's got a great cast: Jason Bateman, Zach Galifianakis, Anna Kendrick, Danny McBride. Yeah, it's got a great cast, and it's a really good film. If you like films set at airports, like The Terminal, and this, I would definitely recommend it. It's basically about a man who basically flies for a living, because he has to go to different companies around the country to basically fire people, get rid of people. And it's just about him making connections on his way doing this. And yeah, I just really liked it, fell in love with the characters. It's a beautiful looking film, really well made. And if you like those types of films, as I say, easy watch, set in an airport for most of it, I would say. Not the same airport, different airports, but yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Next up, last pile, we have Unknown with Liam Neeson. I had watched this a long time ago when it first came out, probably, so couldn't remember much about it, and rewatched it end of last year, I think, and I really liked it. It's one of my favourite of these types of films that he's done, this and Non-Stop, because basically he plays a doctor and he gets in a car crash, and nobody can remember anything about him. It's like he doesn't even exist. Someone's pretending to be him, and people are trying to kill him, and it's just really good to find out what is actually happening, who he actually is. And yeah, I just love the twists in this. It's just really well done, and just a really entertaining watch, and one of the best Liam Neeson films. That is Unknown. Then we have a film which is getting a 4K release in June. I haven't actually seen the standard Amore version go up for pre-order yet, but as soon as it does, I am going to pre-order it, because it's one that I want day one release. And that is The Untouchables, starring Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Robert De Niro, Andy Garcia. Great cast. It's a really great film, directed by Brian De Palma. As I say, the Steelbook versions are up for pre-order now on 4K, but I still haven't seen the Amore go up. But as I say, as soon as it does, I will be pre-ordering that, because I don't think June's going to be that heavy of a month, not at the moment anyway. I know we've got the Batman, but the only other one that I know of at the moment is this. But yeah, fantastic gangster film about Elliot Ness, who basically helped track down Al Capone, put him in prison, because I think he was put in prison for tax evasion. Eventually that's how they got him. But yeah, really good film, great crime, like mob film. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. Next up we have Unstoppable, which is basically about a runaway train, and these two men that work on the train that have to try and stop it, because it will eventually crash and go off the tracks. So they've got to try and stop it and save all these people. Bit like Speed, I suppose, not as tense, bit of a different type of film, but Denzel Washington, Chris Pine, they're great in this. And this was Tony Scott's final film. Tony Scott, brother of Ridley Scott, who directed a lot of great films: Man on Fire, Domino, True Romance, just trying to think off the top of my head, Enemy of the State, think he did Crimson Tide as well. There's just so many to think of. He was a great director. And yet, as I said, this was his final film, and it is a fantastic film. So yeah, I recommend that one as well. Then we have Valentine's Day, which is a bit of a schlocky, cheesy rom-com with an all-star cast, which I try and watch every Valentine's Day. Not a great film, but I watch it purely just to see all these cast together. There are some laughs in it, and it is an okay watch, but definitely not a good film, I wouldn't say. But yeah, one that I try and watch every year. Then we have Valkyrie, which stars Tom Cruise, directed by Bryan Singer, and is basically about an assassination attempt on Hitler by von Stauffenberg, played by Cruise. Yeah, I didn't like this as much as I thought I would. It's still a decent war film. It's got great supporting cast. You've got Tom Wilkinson, Kenneth Branagh, Terence Stamp, Eddie Izzard, Bill Nighy. Just a really great supporting cast. But yeah, I wanted to like this more than I did. It's still a great film. I still think I gave it 3.5, 4 stars. So it is one I would definitely watch again, but not for a while. But yeah, that is Valkyrie. And the final one to talk about in this video is Vantage Point, which is a really good thriller starring Dennis Quaid about an assassination attempt on the president. And it looks at it, it's really cleverly done, and I think this is really underrated because it basically each time looks at it from the different angles of different people, hence Vantage Point. So you'll see it from the point of view of Dennis Quaid's character, and then it'll go to Forrest Whitaker's character, and then Sigourney Weaver's character, and then the actual president himself, played by the late great William Hurt. Yeah, it's just a really great film. Not like mind-blowing or anything, not going to win any awards, but it's a really good thriller, and definitely recommend it. Yeah, that is Vantage Point. And that is it for this video. As I say, there'll be one more video which I'll try and do now, which will be the last part of my actual Blu-ray collection, and then we'll go into my ones that I haven't seen. But if you've seen any of those or are interested in watching any of those, let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded onto the channel. And that is it. So until next time everyone, take care, goodbye.